Yeah, I don't know for the. Oh, right. Yeah, I don't know. This album was. I liked most of them. Thank you for
Hmm.
picking it. There was some that like okay. Some of them I actually plan to repeat listen to.
Okay.
And
Yeah, for
actually I
sure.
have still like re-listened to them today.
Fair enough.
Like I did the 3 when writing down my notes. I need to bring up my notes actually. No, we can't be. Okay, I'm not gonna risk playing snippets
Oh
for
shit.
like,
DMCA.
yeah, like all the DMCA shit is just not worth the headache. So I figure it's better. Like as much as I want to be like listening to the music with everyone and having like a reaction to that, or at least like having the when we like react to something, there's some context. I think having snippets would help, but yeah, I don't want to risk
We
DMCA with
start a reaction channel. Oh boy.
that. Become the very thing that I hate. Do I
Ugh.
actually hate reaction channels? I don't think I do.
I don't. I enjoy occasionally.
I think there's a low quality reaction channels though. I mean, like say video game donkey. He's a reaction channel. Reaction to
But he
video
plays.
games,
Oh. Then everyone's a reaction channel in a way,
right?
unless
I
you're
guess.
unless you're like a music producer or something. I don't know. Unless you're like writing something new.
Are we gonna get going
Yeah.
from the top? Make it
From the
drop.
top rope. All right. This week we did album by Keshi Gabriel. It's been a while. It's been a really long time actually since our last music discussion. I think back in September we did Jameson. Yeah, it's been a thicky minute.
Every
Um,
album that you've introduced on here, at least one song has like a snippet of memory just allocated in my brain somewhere.
okay.
So I
What's
actually
the one
really
for each of the other two albums?
oh god. I mean, it's I can't like pull it out on cue.
Sure, sure,
When I
sure.
hear someone else like say something and I make like a I don't know. It like comes out of memory for whatever reason.
Okay.
Oh
I still
shit.
listen to some singles from the Logic album, and then I still have the Jameson occasionally on rotation. So but these are artists I've already liked before. Maybe like you should pick an artist or something next time, because I know that I'm gonna have something that I like on an album that we review. I need, and I can't just. I guess I could just pick a completely different genre, some EDM or just some
Okay. So I got some
pop.
clarification on the kinds of music that I like. It's actually like a okay. The specific artist Madian, when I looked at the like the genre like listing, it's like electro pop house. It's like what the fuck is that?
House. Yeah,
Does it
yeah,
does
you
it
do like a
actually
lot of
go with
house.
electro pop along
Those are
with that?
different things, I think.
Oh, electro pop house. But yeah, I think house is more my style. Someone described it to me as it was like it's more vocal oriented, like more lyrics,
Um,
but still
like
like kept the electro feel.
kind of. Yeah, it's like a little more dancey than electropop. A little more. I don't know. Like Daft Punk is house.
That's so strange because I actually
like their French house.
I'm not a huge fan of Daft Punk.
You like Daft Punk? Okay, dude. They're like the face of French house.
I guess I'd
They
have
got
to
vocals, yeah.
I'd have to introduce you to. Well, I guess I've already had, but
I
like
know
some of
of
the other
Madian.
ones have like a more meaningful flow than Work It, Make It, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, but just on that on repeat. I mean, some of them are do just have like repeat moments.
What is it? What is it? One more time for like five
One
minutes
more
straight.
time.
When's the last time? When is it? I don't know. You
It
keep
keeps
saying it's the
coming.
one more. I like Daft Punk. I think there's, if anything, I would say just like my respect for them is like unrequited. It's like I don't really like the Beatles, but I respect what the Beatles did for music. Same with Daft Punk. So
Interesting.
that's my. I do like some Daft Punk songs though, for sure, for sure.
Interesting.
But yeah, some of the more vocal ones. I don't know. Maybe I'll link you to some more vocal Daft Punk when it's not just like a sample that's repeated. Like they actually have a singer on there. But
What, Kanye West and Daft Punk?
no, Kanye West stole that shit. All right, he's a traitor.
Traitor.
That song is good
Traitor.
without Kanye.
Okay, true. I think.
Um,
I mean, I don't like it. I don't like either version.
that's fair. All right, you want to talk? Let's talk about the album. Sorry, what a detour.
Hey, it was music
Um,
related. We Gucci. Yeah, I heard you singing "Get It" earlier. Oh,
yeah, that's one of the ones. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the singles real quick. So this album had three singles. The first one was Somebody. The second one was Touch. And the third one was Get It. These singles aren't like a super great reflection of the rest of the album. If you remember those songs specifically,
which
they
ones?
so the first two songs of the album, so Get It and Somebody, and then Touch, which is the fourth track. Uh, those were the singles for the album. I think Somebody was released like I don't even remember. I think it was at least in 2021. Um, but these kind of set the stage because you're when you release a single to build hype for the album, you kind of want to set the stage for what the album is going to be like, and the rest of the album is more, I guess, intimate. It's more um, vulnerable than what these singles like portray. Because when we talk about Get It, especially, and I do want to say, I actually I wasn't a huge fan of the singles on first listen. I I hated Get It on first listen, and now I love it. I don't know why. I think it's some sort of psychological keep exposing yourself to it until you like it. But I really enjoy Get It. I think it's catchy. I don't know.
It
It's not a super
seems
deep song.
different from like
Oh,
Keshi
it's
songs.
not a keshi sound for sure. There's
That's
parts of it that are keshi,
yeah, that
but
was like the biggest. I don't know, for it being the
trap
first.
banger.
Yeah, for the first
Keshi.
song on the album, that was like pretty left field for me. It's like, oh shit, what does Keshi become from
Yeah, what
here?
an album opener too. I don't know what he's trying to do by setting us up with expectations as one of the singles and the beginning of the album. It's bold for sure.
Is it a reminder that he's the shit to everyone.
He's never said that he's the shit though until this album. I don't know what it is. I don't know what happened. I mean, if we want to go down the track list a little bit more, the track Millie, talking about how he made $1 million. I think yeah, he's getting into his like braggadocious bag about, you know, finding more fame, more success, because he's breaking out a little bit more. He's getting more views. He's gaining popularity. You know,
Yeah, give me
he's
some more
growing as an artist.
context,
Well, like
like IRL context.
like a year or two, he wasn't. I think my sister turned me on to Keshi a year or two ago, and he wasn't like super well known. He's kind of not really underground, but just relatively unknown. Um, I'm legit trying to think of what he did. Maybe he just branched out more, but he's always made good music. He just, yeah, fairly unknown. I know he had a lot of roots on YouTube, um, trying to develop his own sound early on. So I guess he's finally recognizing his like his artistic worth in the industry, and that's kind of what Get It is talking about. He's talking about how Big Ice feeling so fine, shit is on me, is spending all night, so he's money essentially. Ice is diamonds, right? That's a reference to diamonds. Yeah. Um. Yeah. The song isn't super deep. It's actually very oh no, what's the word? Dynamic? There are like 3 or 4 transitions in the song. It feels almost like 3 or 4 different songs in a song.
Yeah, I got okay. So this time, I was able to, or rather, I thought it was necessary to copy paste lyrics
I have the Genius up as well.
to
So
talk about. So when he's referencing "Give me everything, trade you anything you want," all this cash on me doesn't matter what it cost. When you're referencing, okay, so in the context of the song of "Get It," my thought of the whole song was it's like encouragement for someone else to like see Keshi as desirable enough to like get.
hmm
It's just like show
almost
me your
luring them in.
desperation or how desperate you can be.
Yes, I can see that for sure.
But I don't know if that was the kind of perspective you had on
No, it
the
definitely
song.
is. Only because when I pulled up the Genius for it, it's a reference to an Instagram comment where someone asked him, "Give us everything you want, and then trade you anything you want." This is his response. It's like direct from that post. So he just put that as a lyric in his song. But I think it's his fans willing to, wanting him to give them everything that, like, all of his content, all of his music, in a way. So
What do you think he meant when, or in like the song, "Oh, you don't even know which one you are, do you? Having trouble telling them apart." Is it like understanding their place? Or, oh, yeah, yeah. So
I
when
think
I
he could be alluding to like a parasocial relationship between him and his fans.
ooh,
Am I actually your friend, or am I separate? Am I someone who just, is this an equivalent exchange of I give you content and you pay for my
interesting.
content, right?
What about the following line after that? Having trouble telling them apart. Is that
That's
the
what I was
is
alluding to.
alluding to the same thing? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
like not sure whether or not they're there to develop like a relationship with someone they don't want to know.
Right. Yeah, I could see that for sure. Keshi can. I think I've seen like fan reactions, and some of it I can definitely associate with the craziness that is K-pop stands. There are people that love Keshi that much that exist, I'm sure. And I think this is him recognizing being that those people should learn to be able to tell themselves apart from actually knowing him versus, consuming his content.
Or understanding their place.
Mhm.
Do you think it could be like a you need to be able to no, it probably isn't. I was gonna go to some to some deeper message of you guys need to figure out from your parasocial relationship moment to go develop your own identity and then come back to understand me in the way that I should be understood after you've rehumanized yourself.
Mhm. I can
That's
see
definitely.
that.
I don't think that's it though. It seems okay. It's kind of BM, but bad manners. I don't know if I'm willing to give him that much credit. I think it's probably more accurate to say, and it's not even credit. It's more just accuracy's sake. Probably more accurate to say that he's having trouble understanding, like, or that they're understanding how to, like, honor him in the way that he wants to be honored.
Mhm.
I guess a relationship like way. I don't know. Maybe
If
I'm
I
just stepping bounds.
backpedal a little bit onto the K-pop stands point that I had, I could say that maybe he doesn't want people to speak for him on certain issues too. I know a lot of K-pop stands will rush to their bias's side, and um like defend them to the ends of the earth when on some like nobody comment, like some shit on some Twitter beef that started from someone, and they're willing to defend them even though, like, you know it's just banter, or they're like they shouldn't care. So maybe he's telling people to also, you know not not always rush to his side, because maybe he doesn't want that kind of fan base.
How's that in context with like the general message of the song? Is it more of like a you need to go get the right things? And if you're on par with what I'm looking for, then invest in me. And if you need if you're not prioritizing the right things, then you need to then it's like clear to me what kind of character you are. I guess I don't really know what the it just seems like a weird message to throw out. The parasocial.
It could be being able to strike a balance between, because some people will act a certain way and not always believe or embody the way that they're acting in that moment. Like maybe that girl that's like, give me everything, give us everything, on Instagram. Maybe she is a stan, or maybe she's just, you know posting a comment that that like amplifies excitement for the album, or hype for the album. and maybe she has a healthy relationship with that, or she's a complete stan and goes nuts every time he posts something. Being able to tell those apart, like he says, maybe, I don't know, something he's recognizing. We are spending a lot of time on this track.
I don't know, man. I
This
thought
is
it was
kind of.
good.
I just feel. I don't think it's that deep. I think he's just being like, Drake makes braggadocious songs, talking about how much money he has and how much these bitches tongue tied. Like he's just making that song. It's a fun song.
All right, I'm trying to read through Isabel's response. So I think in response to the "you don't even know which one you are," I think it questioning whether it's a giver or a taker, like the role of the person he's referencing. I get the vibe that or I get the vibe of he's finally in the position to give, make it rain, be successful, and enjoy it. Yet with that comes people who will take advantage of that fame. Are the people around him giving appreciation for his success, or are they trying to take it from him? And then, in reference to the give you everything, trade you anything you want, was in parallel to selling your soul, your talent, your everything to like a record label, to success, to fame.
Mm. I like that too. I can see it too because I don't remember which song is on this album, but he talks about people who are friends with him for his fame, or people that might leech off of him as he becomes more famous. So yeah, I definitely see that. Um, one of the tracks later, I think it's, oh no, is it? It's not Angel. It's Limbo. I think it's Limbo. He talks about um some like self-value issues and how valuable he is in the music industry, whether or not he feels successful or not, and that can definitely allude toward like being what am I trying to say? It speaks towards him being unsure of whether or not he's successful, or being able to self acknowledge that his success and the work that he's put in, as opposed to being doubtful or nihilistic about the efforts he's put into the album. So
Rhino? Okay.
we could breeze on to the next one.
Sure.
Yeah, listen to "Something About You" by Daft Punk. That's a good song. Somebody. Um, Somebody was the first single announced when he released his album, before releasing his album. Um, I find it interesting because if I'm to provide some IRL context, Keshi's engaged. He has a
Yeah.
fiance,
Yeah.
but he's on like some of these tracks are like e-boy, fuckboy shit,
E boy. Oh no.
which he's done before in the past. He has those songs, as intimate as some of them might sound. he's had those like F boy tracks before, like hooking up with an ex on Too Soon, or um what was it, like I Need You. But so it's not like uncharted ground for him to make an F boy track, but it's an interesting uh parallel, not parallel. It's an interesting like shift because tracks like this are very like you're just talking about uh, wanting or needing someone physically, when some of the other tracks are way more intimate and talk about like his fiance and how much she means to him. So, but then again, artists always make songs that aren't like particularly relevant to what's happening in their real life. So I
Perhaps like
remember
a
hearing a
memory.
track. Um, I remember hearing some of these R&B artists, especially. I remember hearing an interview with the artist Ari Lennox, and in one of her songs, she's talking about smoking smoking dank, smoking all the time to just forget about this person. And in the interview, she's like, "Oh, I don't smoke. I'm allergic to weed." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So maybe it's never 100% true to what's going on in their real life, but they draw inspiration from someone. And Keshi draws inspiration from, I know, like John Mayer and Drake. He's inspired by. Um, I definitely see some like. I definitely see John Mayer, but he finds inspiration in a lot of things. Yeah, this track ain't that deep. You know, it's a fun track. It's catchy. Keshi's just makes catchy hooks, honestly.
I couldn't listen to this publicly.
You can listen to this
I
one.
couldn't. If somebody is okay, here's my notes for it. Hookup
It's got a groove
context,
though.
some horny shit. I'd
Yeah.
cringe listening to this publicly. That's the
Oh, you can just
three
listening
note.
to this one. I like this one. I don't mind it.
I think it's fine if you don't like listen into the. I think the problem with the song was that I was reading the lyrics at the same time. I think if you abstract the noise from the meaning, I think the noise is actually quite pleasant.
The wavelengths.
The wavelengths.
They're hitting my ear in a desirable place. Yeah.
But now
Once
I don't know.
again, yeah.
It, as you already said, it's not really isn't that
It's not that deep.
deep.
I
Yeah.
think um oh, okay. I'm reading the thoughts.
That's like the very end of Isabel's
Yeah, I could
point
see the very end.
is like, wow, I didn't even think about that. You don't know
Putting
which one you
himself in
are.
different shoes, right?
Maybe Gabriel is a persona for him that's freer, fun, fuck boy, more of a fallen angel that's indulging in desires than who he actually, or than who he may actually be, which could be sweet and angelic. Interesting.
Right.
Why would you? Okay. Why would you go to such lengths to indulge yourself in a persona like that? Is
Maybe
it for the content? Is it for the art?
I think it's definitely part of that, both of those things. But I think it's also, you know, maybe it's a. I'm not speaking towards his character. Keshi's character because he seems like a very nice guy, but maybe it's speaking towards being adventurous in and out of a relationship or with his partner. He could be talking about his partner.
Righto. Okay, I,
Yeah.
I need to step away for a sec. It's still
Okay.
running though. If you want to move on, go for it.
Okay. Um, could talk about West Side. I love West Side. West Side's great. I think it's one of my favorites off the album. Um, it takes a super interesting detour from the first two tracks in that it's more intimate, it's more emotional, it's more um uh like involved in a serious tone. Um, just don't let me go, swear you keep me close when I'm flying to the west side when I catch another red eye. Keshi talks about being away from his fiance a lot. On one of his earlier tracks, More, he's expressed um thinking about her a lot. His mind's on her like all the time whenever he's away or touring or like producing an album. I don't know what she does for work, but I know he travels a lot for his music. So it's definitely a hard hitting topic being away from someone for so long. Um, the way your options, all you do is talk about dream or what you call it. Is it everything you wanted? I think in this song he expresses another tidbit of analyzing his own self worth and how reliant on his partner he is for that self worth assessment. Um, this first verse, he's always talking about is everything he's providing with the career and life that he has for his fiance enough for their future, for anything they might uh, be going through. I don't know, maybe if they have a couple more, maybe the two of us, or like if they have kids, or is he big enough as an artist for the two of them.
Interesting.
He could also be talking about his fans too. Is he enough for his fans? Because numbers can only speak so much towards an artist's success. So in this song, he could be talking about if this album is enough for does it satiate his fans in what they wanted. Um,
I'm probably gonna repeat a lot of what you said. I came back like maybe a minute ago, but
okay.
in terms of West Side, to me the context seemed more of a conversation between himself and his partner,
Hmm.
and there's a insecurity of that the partner is stepping, it's not necessarily stepping down from the relationship but more like focusing on her dreams and I guess boosting up her self-worth abstract from the meaning to be have been gotten out of the relationship. So it's like a shift in priorities. And I think when you're dealing with the relationship like that and you have that sudden shift from one person, I think it's alienating and almost leaves the other person insecure as if they weren't ready to make a shift towards, I don't know, their own passions or whatever they have, because all they had was like the relationship to be looking at. And if one person's like not prioritizing it as much and refocusing on something else, then how do you get how like what do you feel from that? And I think Keshi's describing a sense of jealousy because he doesn't have like something comparable to leave someone else equally jealous of him prioritizing something else in his life. And so when he's looking around for, like, in the lyrics it says, "Where the fuck my friends? Fuck am I waiting for?" Or like, "Where the fuck is home? Where the fuck I'm going?" It's like searching for different sources of meaning to exchange the passion for the relationship that's no longer mutually invested in by both parties, and how to disperse that passion elsewhere. And it's not like, and sometimes it's almost a sense of betrayal from my understanding and my interpretation of how he's voiced the situation.
Hmm. He also talks about being like moving too fast, but not taking the time to figure out the meaning during the moving. Because in the pre-chorus he talks about fame, he can't slow down, I move too fast, I end up crashing. Um, and he can't seem to like catch it. Like maybe he's trying to catch a moment when he's, I don't know, making music or just living life in general. Uh, and maybe his fiance is one of those things that, you know, despite moving at 100 miles an hour, keeps him grounded. But still, once again, he's unsure of the meaning of it all. He feels like he's waiting for something, but what is that? Or where is he going? Why is he going somewhere? I think it's super relatable. I think I can definitely relate to that. Um, Maybe his fiance provides some reassurance of, you know, when he says, "I think it's time to go. I think it's time to call you." Maybe that she is that, you know, that rock in his life, that anchor, keeps him sane. I don't know.
Ooh, that's interesting. I definitely interpreted that like a little bit differently. So I think in the pursuit of finding meaning, you consider all options. And so would you consider the option of breaking apart the relationship, like in that moment when you've gone completely insane as to where meaning is, and you feel this
Hmm.
betrayal from your partner? I think the instant gratification that you can get from that is by ending the relationship. So I think he's taking that into consideration. I don't think he means that, because in like a couple verses, or yeah, in a couple lines later, he says, "Just don't let me go." So it's like the, perhaps the reconsideration of what is actual sanity in that he needs this person, like regardless. Yeah, even though he's considered the, you know, the extreme, he still understands that the rock in his life still needs to be there, like after all consideration.
Hmm.
That's how I'd interpreted the line, instead of having that immediate reaction that he still needs her.
This one actually sheds some light on to what we were talking about. Get it? You don't know. You don't even know which one you are, do you? Having trouble telling them apart. Is his identity with his fiance, or is his identity with traveling and touring and being a musician? Because clearly those things, um, like clash in a way. Because, you know, I'm assuming they're having to go through some sort of long distance relationship for a considerable amount of time.
Right.
So, you know, you could talk about the dichotomy at the very end of Get It as him talking to himself on which kind of life he wants, because they're not always perfect, both of them. So yeah,
Stepping
beautiful song.
away.
I love this song.
Yeah,
I know
this
you
was
stepped away.
actually one of
One
my
of my favorites.
top two. Yeah, as
Yeah.
well. I need to step away for another second.
On to Touch. Yay! This one's got a similar vibe to um Somebody. I'll be super honest. I did some like exposure therapy with Get It in Somebody, and I ended up liking Get It in Somebody. I still don't like this song. I think it's catchy. I think it has a place in the album. I think it has very similar themes to Somebody, but it just doesn't hit right for me. I don't know. It's okay. Spencer talked about um not being able to play Somebody like being able to listen to the song just being around or something or out loud. And I feel that way about this song. Cuz you know, it's a song about almost like forbidden love, infidelity. Um it's not very deep. Um I don't know.
I
I
don't know.
think
I'm gonna be honest. Touch is my favorite one. If you're talking
wow,
about Touch,
really
yeah.
fascinating. That's super unexpected. Um you gonna listen to this in like out in the open? Because you said you can't listen to somebody in the open or whatever. What did you say about somebody?
Yeah, I'd be embarrassed to listen to it in public.
Yeah, you don't feel that way about this one?
I think this one is deeper than Somebody. To like it seems more it seems less upfront with the horniness.
Can't talk with my tongue in your mouth.
Okay, besides like that line and wrong but it feels so right. Okay, you know what? Maybe it is because I'm also reading some other notes.
It's pretty horny.
Show me your chest on mine.
On mine.
Yeah. Show me your legs up high. Yeah. Oh shit. Well,
There could be a deeper meaning in that he could be talking about his life in like once again his life he could be paralleling his life as a musician being away from his fiance as cheating on her because he's not 100% even though she's his fiance, he's not he's not with her 100%. He's not always there. He's not always um I'm not going to say he's not always committed, but he's not always present. So the themes of this uh alternate ego, alternate personality, I guess, could allude to him not being loyal in a way, or I don't want to kiss all night, kiss all night. That line tells me, the forbidden love aspect of it is very. He's not down for the whole night. He's just down for a moment. Um,
I
he's down for temporarily, I guess.
I took that a much different way.
Go for it.
The level of kissing doesn't want to stick with it all night. He wants it deeper. Like a deeper intimate moment. A sexual moment.
Oh, okay.
To
Yeah,
me the song was
you
about
could take it that way.
the woman not wanting to invest more. I think there's some line in the lyrics earlier about like you say you don't want to go like too fast. And like there's
That you're taking it slow, but you're pulling me close. That one
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. It was like the other person was finding out who was like the right person for her. And so I think part of this moment is, or rather the context of it is she's like exploring with different people. But Keshi's impression of the moment was that this was meant to be. And so the wrong but it feels so right is like it's wrong in the sense that we don't have that kind of relationship yet, but the signals that I'm feeling versus the signals that you're feeling are saying different.
Hmm. And maybe
That's how I
that's
took the
why
song.
it's non-exclusive. This relationship.
Yeah.
He talks about at the end of verse 2. He says, "If it's only a touch, was it better than us to you?" So he's asking her, whoever her may embody, if the interaction itself or just the touching is better than them as an idea or even a couple. So he's wondering if she feels that same passion towards being non-exclusive, I guess. Um, so another one's car at the house, front of the house. Yeah, right. It could also, yeah, people being with other people. I don't know. Nothing. Something about the way this song sounded to me. I don't know if it was the production. It just, eh,
I really liked
it
it.
doesn't do it for me.
To be
No,
honest.
absolutely, yeah. I'm definitely in the minority. I know that his fans love this song, so I'm yeah. And it's not even about the horniness. It's about yeah. It's
I took a yeah. I when
the
I
the production isn't like super. I don't want to say deep, but it's not very luscious. Is the word I'm looking for? Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. Okay.
When I think of like luscious production, I think of like Get It. Like that's so dynamic of a song. So many different things. Like the yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think this was one of my least favorites on the album, but to each their own. To
Wow.
each their own.
Okay.
Yeah. Next one is Millie. Oh yes, the typical. Let me talk a milli. No, for bragging about how much he's made. It's funny because this song sounds like "Over You," one of his like older, more lo-fi tracks. It's like, but it's not like super energetic. I just made a milli. I'ma say it loud. That's the chorus, and but it sounds kind of somber and sad in a way. Um, yeah,
I got one
this is
quote.
this is go for it.
Okay. It needs more context. I'm sure you have the lyrics up anyways, but
I
cuz
do.
I like all my vices. Said I like all my vices whatever the price is. And so there's some for some context for the quote. It was there's some like a situation where this person wanted to like use Keshi's fame for their own like self promotion. And so said person wanted to like talk to Keshi about it, because they had like some previous connections together, but Keshi denies the opportunity to follow through with
Right.
that reach out. And so he speaks on behalf of ignoring said person about that. And I just thought it was weird that he describes that ignorance behavior as a vice.
Is it a vice? I mean,
Because
it's he's ghosting this person, right?
right.
Because they're leeching off him. But is
I don't think
is
it's
ghosting always toxic? I guess. Is it always a is it a vice, or is it a vice that is it a vice that you like it
I think it's a
that he
vice
likes?
of, oh, that's interesting. I thought it was a vice because it was like a higher being's moral code or like moral ethics against the moral ethics of like a higher being.
Hmm.
Like in general, you would consider this a vice. So maybe there's like some internal guilt somewhere.
Yeah, maybe some internal monologue. Like he's I don't know. Maybe he's giving in to some vices, some things, and admitting he likes them, like gaining fame to be able to. I'm not saying this is the prime purpose, but gaining fame to be able to shut someone down for being a leech. Um, Still feels good though. Like I don't think that's. It's not toxic until you're doing it to shut those people down. I think. But if some part of him does feel that way, he's definitely liking his vice, especially if the price of that vice, or the price of liking that vice, is engaging into working harder on his music career. Yes, definitely supports some of the um, themes throughout this album, but it's I don't mind this track. It's kind of it's a short track.
What, you
Seems like an
can't
interlude
relate?
almost. Yeah, I can't relate because I'm poor as fuck. No, I yeah, it kind of reminds me of like his older school lo-fi stuff, like Magnolia or Over You. It's pleasant to listen to. It's in the middle of the album, so um,
Right on.
we can touch on the next one too. It's his father, speaking in French,
Oh, it's his
talking
father.
about, yeah, it's Papa. Um, and I think it's his dad or it's his grandpa. Got to be his dad. Yeah, père means father in French.
Oh,
I did a quick Google Translate,
I did too.
and I think a lot of it is talking about what what his father means, or his father's interpretation of what means a lot in his life. Um, I think, yeah. So the message of this is, I think what Keshi asked his father is, "What would you tell your younger self?" And this is his father's answer to that,
Oh, oh,
because for the quick Google Translate, his dad says, "I would like to tell myself, don't worry, everything will be fine. When I was 18, I was afraid. I was petrified. No, I had just left my country. I just left my home and all my friends to arrive here in this foreign country. I was put into school and I don't speak the language. I would like to reassure myself that everything will be fine and that one day I will have a beautiful family and two sons who are beautiful and intelligent." Yeah, it's just like a little quick, meaningful, Keshi hitting us with the heartstrings, especially if it's from his dad. Um, yeah, and in a way, maybe it's Keshi reassuring himself that in his current state of unease or not knowing what direction he's going or if there's a meaning to his life, that maybe his dad's reassurance also of his younger self also reassures Keshi as well.
that's a great perspective to have. Wow. Yeah, I like that. I didn't have too much to say. I think you did more
That's
research
about it.
on that, and the dots connect pretty well with what you just said.
Thank you. I'm prepared. That's right.
I am the source of truth
Okay.
and all that. No, I'm kidding.
Hell Heaven. I I am conflicted about. I like this one. I like this one. I don't know how to feel. Okay. Before anything, I don't know how I feel about pitched vocals. I generally don't like them. I think it's I in this song, and I generally, yeah, it's but I like the song. This is his favorite song that he's made. off this album,
Really?
is what he said. Yeah, I
I
was
actually. Okay.
I was actually watching. It was Peter streamed with Keshi and played some Valorant with Keshi, and he was saying that this was his favorite song off the album. So yeah, I don't know. Your take?
I want to say this is like either my third or fourth favorite. At
Mm-hmm.
first, I didn't know how to feel about it, and like after I kept re-listening to it, after the like post the 3 times that I had available, it grew on me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
It just seems like a more vibey song than it does like a ugh. I don't know.
it feels like a late night drive kind of song. You know?
Even though I can't really relate, I think it's like drug overdose related, and of course I can't relate to that, but I don't know. Like the sounds, my eardrums are pleased.
These
I don't know
wavelengths
what more to say.
appease
Like I guess the
my
meaning wasn't too
neurons.
easy to understand for me.
It sounds like he's talking about um his fiance for sure, or even his music career. You know, there's always that distinction. Can't recall life before you anymore. I can't afford to give it all. I do it for you. So you know, be trying to reassure his soon-to-be wife that he's still committed. Um,
Ooh, okay. Okay. So when he mentions is this hell or heaven, might be just the medicine. You decide. You decide it. Is this saying that despite past all the past problems that he's had, the new future in joint with his fiance is now going to be it's now going to be like shared responsibility for his future. So when he references hell or heaven, is this like now going to be a worse turn for his life or a better turn for his life?
mm,
And now that the responsibility is on both himself and his fiance, you decide is like him pushing it off, knowing like his past, or knowing like all the poor behaviors that's happened in his past. He's now leaving the decision making to the fiance. Maybe he's
I like
questioning
that.
himself if hell or heaven is knowing that somebody else is in control of your life now. Like maybe the control of your life being on someone else is a hell because you have no like control anymore. Or maybe it's heaven if they choose to direct your life in a way that leads you to where you want to go.
Sure.
But I don't know what might just be the medicine is.
It could just be him hallucinating in a way.
Ooh, okay.
Like I don't know. I picture this weird um image of him overdosing somewhere and his fiance coming to his side and getting him to a hospital or something. And that act of his fiance being there for him is, you know, the state that he's in that hospital is reflected in this song. Might just be the medicine talking about maybe it's neither. Maybe there's this external force that's um, affecting his perception of life. But that's a very literal take, I think, from my point of view. Took too much, thought I was dead, and I thought of you. Yeah, I thought of you. So he could also take when he's talking about dosage, he could have taken too much of this thing, this drug, or this, medicine, and when he thought he was dead, he thought of her. So maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah, right. Like in similar to what you said, maybe it doesn't matter if it's hell or heaven as long as he's with her. Yeah.
Are you taking a look at Isabel's comment? Is that what you were mentioning, or were you mentioning
I,
mine?
I was I was talking about yours
Oh,
because you mentioned being with this person could be either hell or heaven,
mm.
and their direction could steer it another way. But yeah, I did like Isabel's comment as well. I guess making a parallel between like she's his medicine in a way.
Ooh, yeah, that's what Isabel just mentioned. She's the cure to
Yeah, yeah.
whatever state of being he was in before.
Right. He could also be
Ooh.
talking about once again. You could talk about his music career too. Um, can't recall life before his music career. I don't know. What to interpret. Next song, Angostura. Angostura. I think this is my favorite off the album. In like nothing like distinctly identifies as why it's my favorite. It's just my favorite. Um,
I barely have any
it's a
notes.
vibe, dude.
It's pretty good
it's
though.
yeah, it's a jam. I don't know. Um, uh, further perpetuating the narrative that this song could be about his fans. It could be about his girlfriend or his fiance. It could be about someone in particular where his persona is Gabriel, like Isabel said, and he's living his life through this different persona. Um, oh, that's talking enough. Sounds like he wants more of this person in this song. Sounds like, you down to see me or what? It's kind of this like desperate saying, like they haven't connected enough, or maybe they're like cautious about connecting with each other. Um, yeah.
Might have cheated on this song and listened to it a bunch of times. The only
Oh, I
problem
did.
is that I didn't like take any notes on it. Like I
I
didn't
didn't.
think
I
it was a
think.
bad. Okay, it's not that I didn't take notes. The notes that I have is pretty catchy, and context is that he's drinking out with his buddies, sees some hot woman, and wants to have love tonight. That's
Oh,
my only
wants to
notes.
have love.
Wants to have love.
Wow. Perhaps I should copulate with you. Gee
Hello
whiz,
there,
sir.
woman.
Hello,
Young Hotman.
NPC Spencer. All right.
That's about
Hotman,
what you'd
Hotman, Hotman.
expect. Ugh. Hello
That's the
there,
game.
hot woman.
Greetings. Mine. Okay. Um. Pour me a banana. Okay, this is where I don't agree with the song. Kick it with my brothers and it's all right. I just want to love for the whole night. Man, are your homies not enough for you? Are they not? You don't kiss your homies goodnight? Like, what's up, Keshi? What's wrong with that? My homies are enough for me. I don't.
Oh
What's
shit.
going on?
Thanks, man.
Wow. Um. Yeah, it's not a deep song.
Still your
Uh,
favorite though?
I think it's my favorite. I don't know what it. I like the guitar. That's something I haven't even talked about. The guitar playing by Keshi on this album is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It shows even more in the next song. I love the next song too. But um, yeah, I like the song a lot. It's probably my favorite. I don't like saying vibey, but here we'll say it provides a nice atmosphere. The late night
Dude, the stars
jams
are
atmosphere.
aligning
Yeah,
so
the stars are
beautifully.
aligning, dude.
It speaks to my soul.
I am appeased by these light waves hitting my eye cones. All right. I wish I could say more about this song, but I just really enjoy it. Yeah, I didn't have a ton of notes on this one either.
Nice.
Um, tell me when you roll through the H. So I didn't know for the longest time what H meant, and Keshi is from Houston, Texas, so H means Houston.
Ah.
That's about it. Um, yeah, that's what he. When you roll through my town was good. A shot. What's up, baby girl? All right, moving on to the next one. Understand. This is my. Whew, whew.
Alright.
Sheesh.
Here's
Yeah, obviously about his fiance. What? You better come out here and say it's your least favorite.
No,
If
it
you, sir.
finally happened. I lagged out for part of that.
Oh, didn't hear it. I got no response from Spencer that whole time, and I felt really invalidated about my feelings towards
Really?
the song. Yeah, I was like, "There's no, he's not saying anything.
Oh
I don't
no.
know."
Sorry.
Pour my heart out how this is my second favorite song. He's not.
Mind doing a recap? Sorry.
This is my second favorite song. I don't know. Beautiful. The melody
Beautiful.
choices, the guitar work, classical guitar. Reminds me of like mid to late '90s, like soft rock. Not really R&B, but like Like you ever hear like More Than Words? The song More Than Words?
No. Have I
You haven't
heard
heard
the
More
song?
Than Words? Change that right now. Um, but yeah, it's like soft rock, acoustic, talking about the one you love. Yeah, it's good. It's real good. It's lovely. It's short, but it's sweet.
Here's one quote that I've got. Never thought I'd find that the one in my life would be so near. And now that you're here, I got you. You got me. When it's us, babe, you make me feel complete. You're all I need. Why did I quote that? I don't know either. I
the
just
that's the whole first verse.
that's yeah.
Never thought that I'd find that the one in my life would be so near. Okay, so God, I feel like a stan for knowing this much about his life, but he's talked about this in an interview. He's known his now fiance for since they were like kids. So she's always been in his life, and I think that nearness, that's what he's alluding to when he talks about how near she is.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't think they started dating for a good portion of when they've known each other and they grew up together. But yeah, um, it's a nice sentiment. It's pretty sweet.
I don't know. I just wrote it off as like a really cute song.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
special to
very
me.
sentimental. It reminds me of his song Us on his last EP. I don't know if you've listened to the song Us by Keshi.
I probably have.
It's the piano ballad at the end. Yeah, really good sentiment. Really, really pretty.
Yeah, you know what? I brought up that whole quote from Understand just to serenade to you.
Oh, thank you.
Alon. Yeah, no
Can you
problem.
sing it for me? Oh.
Um, if I if I remembered how the song went, shit. But then again, we could get DMCA.
Oh shit.
No,
True.
let's be honest here. My voice doesn't sound that good to be DMCA-able. Anyways,
If you weren't detected for DMCA, would you be disappointed?
I'd be a little humiliated and embarrassed.
It's not close enough to the real song. It's fine.
Look, bro, it's his own spin on it, okay? It's just a really bad spin. Ah, shit.
Yeah, I'm listening to this one when we're done.
Might as well listen to the
Um,
whole album again. I feel like whenever we do these, I always
do
pick
they
up more
meld together?
perspective. Oh
Oh,
no,
okay, yeah.
it's more of like when you re-listen with new perspective. I think you get a different feeling for the experience after knowing like
Okay.
the intended meaning. And it's not even like the intended meaning, but yeah, I think you move towards a more accurate understanding of what the actual meaning is supposed to be.
Hmm. For sure. Um, but on to the next one. Limbo. Yeah, Understand's my second favorite. Uh, Limbo is. I like Limbo. I like Limbo a lot. A lot of this is him talking about. Ooh, yeah, it's relatable as fuck too. Talking, at least for me, talking about understanding self worth. Self worth. Limbo is often referred to, or it means a state of like being between one and another, or being between two states. So if we're talking about um, what Keshi expresses in this song, he has lines like "I am a fraud, I am the shit," hoping that nobody notice, even though he likes being braggadocious about his success in this album. Um, been going through the motions back and forth like an ocean. Um, no advice for the shit, might die for the shit. Do I feel alive? Feel more like Limbo, hands out my window, you know, chasing the sunset. That's more my tempo. He's just talking about his general lack of direction in life and wanting to know if the music life is even worth what he feels he's put into it. Um, you know.
Okay. Okay. Here's a quote that I got that reminds me of I think what I talked about with West Side is looked in does it really say that? Looked in my demons and saw myself, put all my meaning in someone else.
Oof,
And so
love that one.
when I talked about like West Side in the like someone else has been I don't know that in West Side there was this imbalance in like passion or investment towards the relationship once like his fiance started to think about her dreams and he had like nowhere else to go. And so when I reference that in with that quote, to me it sounds like he's still struggling in this song as well about
Hmm.
trying to find meaning outside of like this relationship that he has with someone else. Or it's thinking that his actually if you put parallels between that and hell or heaven and how we talked about having someone else be in control of your life, maybe the looked in my demons and saw myself, put all my meaning in someone else, is the meaning in someone else being they're in control of his life, and the demons being himself is like he's a part of the problem, so he still needs to allow someone else to take over for his life. Or maybe he's like too dependent on that.
I guess one of the questions that line begs too is, are you your own demons? Like, do you identify with that? Is that actually, is it you, or does it feel more like a part of you? Because it seems like he's, you know, like he said earlier in that, I don't remember which song. I'm sure you know the "Like My Vices" song. He's also talking about it here,
Yes,
where
that's
he's
Millie.
Millie. Yeah, he's looking at his demons, and maybe that just is who he is. And I can't tell if it's if he's expressing it as a problem or almost like acceptance. Um, but when you mention putting all my meaning in someone else, that speaks to his, you know, his fiance is what he means to care for and to cherish, and you know, maybe by doing that she can find his meaning as well.
That she can?
Yeah, or at least help him find it,
Oh,
because you know he has a general lack of direction.
right.
And
Following lines after that is out of sight, out of mind. Don't know where to find it. Don't know where to hide it. So I guess that, like, the having the meaning just in someone else.
right, can't hear my head when I'm sat beside you. I think it's, yeah, he's talking about if he's able to consult and confide in his fiance, he's able to set aside his, or at least maybe even overcome his, you know, his anxieties, his insecurity with maybe himself in the world. Yeah.
I got another quote from the song. Oh, but this is all that I am. I only show you the best of me. The best of me. Oh, trying. But I'm just a man hoping it won't get the best of me. The best of me. I had to laugh in there because I'm like, I'm becoming dyslexic the more I look at my notes.
What does that even mean? You good, man? Did you get
No,
enough
I
sleep?
need
You
to I
hydrated?
need to zoom in.
Old man
My
Spencer up
boomer eyes can't
here.
keep up with my
Jesus.
notes. Ugh. And I'm like, I'm trying to work this out so I don't sound stupid. Ugh. But there's no escaping that. But showing the best of me too. I don't know where that is in context to the song. But he could be referencing his fiance or perhaps his fans.
I think maybe he's saying when he's around his fiance, the best of him comes out as well. And so that's the only part of him that he sees. He doesn't see, or she doesn't see him when he's, you know, maybe in his anxious state, or when he's drinking, or when he's smoking. Um, he only sees, or she only sees him when he's healthy, because maybe, I don't know, she comforts him in a sort of way. Um, he's trying to do that, right? Though there's an effort when he does that. There's not, it's not always, uh, what's the phrase? It's all not all sunshine and rainbows. but you know, uh, he's hoping that his efforts to do to show her the best sides of himself aren't in vain, and that one day he may break and not feel that way, or maybe he won't have enough strength to set aside his anxieties and be strong, and maybe some of those insecurities may pour out, and he's hoping that she still sticks around.
Great song though.
Yeah, big fan of this
Truly.
one. Angel. All right, so this one is like this is a beautiful song with the piano and very minimalistic, very stripped down keshi, but it's very open to interpretation.
It struck me as like a post breakup
That's what it felt
moment.
like to me too. Trying to think of yeah. This feels like I'm wondering what he's saying goodbye to, I guess. Is he talking about maybe his past life? Maybe it could be about a past relationship. It could also be about a past experience or career path that he had. I know he was trying to be a nurse at one point, and he ditched that for music. So I don't know if this is some sort of analogy for. I mean, it definitely is for letting go of something that existed in the past that he cared about. Um, but yeah, super open to interpretation. Um, I really like the line, "You're treading at the shore. I bet you've never drowned before in someone that you do it for." Talking about this person that he nearly, or not even nearly, that he let into his life. And now that they're gone, he's trying to figure himself out, but they were never committed to him, which is the comparison to treading at the shore, whereas he's drowned, he's committed to this person, he's, invested despite the feeling not being mutual. Um,
How does that play with your earlier interpretation of him talking about perhaps a past identity?
I think it could parallel with the song Touch, talking about no one's ready to commit, or maybe the other person isn't ready to commit, when I was talking about the line where he supposedly asked the girl, or the embodiment of the girl, whether or not the touch meant more than the idea of him and her being together to her, like what meant more to her.
Oh,
So if we're talking about, yeah, maybe it is this past life that he only ever dipped his toes in. He never really gave it all for her.
okay.
Yeah, this song is super open, super. Yeah, could be your basic breakup song, but I don't think it. I think it's deeper than that. I
Why the
don't
name
know.
Angel?
I think angel alludes to this image of promise, this image of prosperity in life, and in general, like religions and stuff like that. Where we talk about Gabriel, um, we also talk about like he was one of in like biblical context, he was one of God's most loyal servants, and I think he was he the one that was corrupted. I'm delving into what I learned in Catholic and Christian school. I don't remember if he was the one that like betrayed God. Um, but either way, it reflects this image of promise, this image of um perhaps something good to come, and maybe it's not a. Keshi talks about that promise, but he doesn't talk about what actually happens after that promise is, I don't know, broken, or it isn't what is all cracked up to be. I don't know. Yeah, but I enjoyed this song. Good song.
I
Don't know if you
got
have any last minute comments.
yeah. You never had a clue. All the days I spent loving you. Who am I supposed to give them to? So with the okay.
Hmm. Maybe this he's talking about days where he thought about his fiance, but they just weren't like together in vicinity, like general physical vicinity, or even remotely. Like maybe he alludes to all the days spent loving you as days where he spent writing about her. I don't know. That line could mean a lot of different things.
Nah, I'm gonna move on. I didn't have too many notes for this song. I had two
Yeah,
quotes.
it's
That was it.
gotcha. Okay. Last one is Gabriel. A short ending track. Um, on a short album. I enjoyed Gabriel as well. It's a good closer.
It seemed a little religious, connecting too much for me. Like too much of it was being a reference. I think both like
Right.
the instrumental piece was also gave me like religious vibes. That's definitely a bad way to put it, but
Yo, them religion vibes though. That shit crazy though. Sheesh.
uh,
It feels kind of yeah. No, I get what you mean though. It feels almost like a not really a song like a preachy song, but a song that you would think is dedicated to some religious context, especially the arrangement of the piano. Um, I don't know. In some languages, I did some research on the angel Gabriel because it's a little more. I only learned like Christian stuff when I was a kid, so I only had like a few moments of Catholic knowledge. And in some languages, Gabriel is translated as the strength of God. He is also known as like the herald of visions, so like seeing the future. I think of strength of God when he says, "Before you leave, come see Gabriel." Maybe if he's anxious about his fiance leaving, he's asking her for another pillar of strength, maybe a reconsideration. If his fiance ever comes to the conclusion that they can't be together, I don't know. Um, and maybe like because Gabriel alludes to the Herald of Visions, he's talking about hey, come see Gabriel. He'll show you that our life is meant to be more prosperous than it may seem at the moment. Because I'm sure they've had their ups and downs as a couple. So maybe that line is uh, a line of reassurance.
Mm. Why does he have a reference to both himself seeing Gabriel, or rather, firstly, the fiance seeing Gabriel, and then himself? Is the order indicative of something?
Before you leave, come see Gabriel. I actually just had the thought now that this could be to like a family member passing as well.
Yeah, I had written it could be like a religious. Gabriel could be like a religious context, or it could be like a child.
Mm-hmm. Lay on me while he breathes and he grows strongly. And now I see. So, you know, yeah, maybe he has a kid. And maybe this is him envisioning maybe one of his parents passing as he's holding his kid or something like that. Yeah,
Wow.
a lot of open to interpretation this one too. But yeah, definitely a little more rooted in religious context. Um, it was there's a bottom blurb here on the Genius. I've always wanted to make a hymn sort of record, and it ended up being about my parents and watching them grow old. There you go. Yeah. Like I said, family being a very big, thorough line in this record, it just felt kind of appropriate to end it on that sort of note. And the coolest thing it ends with Gabriel. Album starts with it again. Gotcha. So yeah, that is about the parents. All right. That's the track list. I enjoyed this album. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, actually. Only because um the singles weren't super promising to me on first listen, so I had maybe a lot of negative preconceived notions about what the rest of the album would sound like. But when you take Get It Somebody and Touch and compare it to the rest of the album is much more intimate. It's more close to Keshi, and I actually like that about the album a lot more because he still has his signature sound, but he's grown as an artist. His guitar playing is chef's kiss. But yeah, um, big fan of the album. Even though it's only like half an hour, it's kind of short for an album. But if I'm to name my favorite tracks, I'd say Angostura, Understand, and then probably West Side. Um, and yeah, Spencer, any closing thoughts?
Yep, favorite was Touch, West Side, and I think Hell in Heaven is probably.
I think Hell Heaven was like my fourth if I had to choose a fourth. Yeah. All right.
Yep, it's pretty good. I'm
Cool.
kind of at my end in
Solid album.
terms of energy
Yeah,
here.
we've been
I'm
talking about a
sorry.
lot. No, I felt the same way. We spent a lot of time on Get It. We spent like 20 minutes on Get It.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we don't need to talk about Get It that long. So, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Thanks for
Cool.
listening.
Yeah, thanks for setting this up for this week. I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to go back to weeklies. I felt kind of refreshed going into this one though.
Okay, yeah.
I must admit.
I would have been down to push this one a week out. I would have been fine with that if you had asked me. So,
Oh,
we'll see what the next album is, I might have you choose it, maybe, if it's something that you piques your interest.
That's the
I don't know.
thing, though. It's that I don't really go like album searching or anything. Like I'm so music illiterate, music world illiterate that I couldn't. Yeah, I definitely don't like keep up in the same way that you would.
Maybe we do like a jazz album, or oh yeah, didn't I say I wanted to do like metal at some point, or
Yeah.
something along like heavy rock metal? We'll look into that. Um, but yeah, yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll set something up. Hopefully, it won't be like 6, 7 months till the next one. But
Well, it's whatever you want to set it up.
yeah,
It's all good.
all right.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming by, everyone.
Thanks for stopping
Isabel,
by.
thanks for shopping.
Thanks for any shoppers in the chat. Any Oilers?
I need to go like cough my lungs out. I've been holding in coughs. Not even holding in coughs. They've